Every time I think about getting into a new video game, I ask my friends and myself the same question. What would make it, to me, enjoyable? And the answer to that is always replayability. Me personally, I'm not the biggest fan of just a one and done type game. I'm not a fan of just walking into it, playing the story, and then you're absolutely finished with it, except for a few exceptions like Souls-like games. I feel like Souls-like games are absolutely incredible, especially with Elden Ring. That was just amazing. But I believe that a great game for me is a game with a few things, right? Primarily, its replayability. It needs to have satisfying graphics and it needs to have good combat. And I'm sure you can already tell where this is going, especially since you clicked on this video and you read the title. So, Destiny 2 was absolutely amazing. And 2 days ago, or a day and a half ago, from as of recording this video, I beat it. And as of now, whoa, it got really bright in my room. And as of now, for me, the light and dark saga for Destiny is over. Major spoiler warning because I will be getting into some pretty story heavy details because I want to talk about this, and I also want to basically condense Bungie's recent video about the future of Destiny 2 into my own video. And I'm not stealing their ideas, I'm just going over it, right? All right, calm down, calm down. So to start things off, the story for this recent DLC, The Final Shape, was revolving around our guardians coming together and beating the big bad guy, the Witness, who was controlling everything for the past 10 years of Destiny, give or take. And that kind of storytelling I already like. When your character or the main protagonist is just fighting a bunch of these smaller antagonists that is being ultimately controlled by this one big bad guy antagonist, and at the end of the storyline you end up fighting and beating the final boss essentially, because spoiler alert, you do kill the Witness. That is a story I really, really like. It's a story trope that is rather common where you have one bad guy controlling everything behind the scenes and then you eventually beat him. But I really do enjoy that trope, and Bungie does it so well. And Bungie needed to pull this off really well because recently with Lightfall and also with some DLCs like Shadowkeep, those were really weak story-wise. I mean, I think, in my opinion, they were just a great story told poorly. And with Lightfall, it was just too many plot holes, not a lot of action, too many questions than answers. With Lightfall, it was just, And I know I recently made a video about Destiny 2 and this specific DLC, which was The Final Shape, and I'm going to make another one about it because I want to speak about this DLC and the future, because, again, this DLC was absolutely incredible, and I can say because I have beaten it. I have not done the raid yet, but I've seen a lot of videos. I've had some buddies of mine that's played it. They've said it is extremely challenging, but it is very fun and rewarding. I am very excited, but now, let's get into the now and the future of this game. Even though I say I am finished with Destiny 2 or I beat it, the grind isn't over, because if you'll take note in my last video, I did mention that I'm only playing on my Hunter, and I do eventually plan on leveling up my Titan and my Warlock, which is going to take a long time, but I say that with a smile on my face because I originally played Destiny 1 as a Titan, and I remember when I got my Xbox One, I was like, ooh, I want to try something new, and so I switched over to Hunter because I was always curious, and I think Hunter is the best character in the game, right, or the best class selection in the game, right? You have a mixture of everything. You have survivability, mobility, damage, all of these different things, and your supers are especially, like, you have a ton of variety, a ton of consistency where it needs to be. But the grind isn't over even though the game is finished, which is why I love Destiny. Another one of the many reasons why I absolutely adore this game and why I would consider it now my favorite game of all time. No longer Titanfall 2. The fact that you can beat the final boss and you can still play the game as if nothing happened. And some people might not like that. I mean, there are some parts of the story that I don't like because now that I've beaten the final boss, it's like, oh, we still need to beat this smaller boss, and this is going to be like the hardest challenge we've ever faced. When it's like, I recently, there was a 12-man mission, right? A 12-man meaning there's me and 11 other guardians fighting this one boss. It was really short, but the cutscenes were absolutely incredible. I cried a little bit. I will admit, as a grown man, I can say I did cry a tiny bit. But that final mission, Excision, I think it was called, at the finality of the campaign was amazing, and it was just there's never been anything like that in Destiny 2 except for glitches, where it was you and 11 other guardians just doing one thing. All of you are just like going to war against this one big entity. And now anytime I fight a boss and my ghost is like, oh, this is going to be a really hard challenge, I'm like, well, It's just kind of awkward. But all in all, I have absolutely zero complaints about the campaign, except that it's already done, and I wish I could go back. And I actually, never mind, I will go back because I will be playing on my Titan and Warlock, as I said. But now I'd like to speak a little bit about the future, because recently Bungie released a short video, like 5 or 6 minutes, talking about the next year of Destiny, Destiny 2, excuse me, and they're releasing a form of content called episodes. Now, each episodes, I forgot the titles of them, but there's 3 in the next year until 2025, when they will be introducing something else. I forgot the name of that as well, but I think it's a new DLC, maybe. I'm not too sure. But episodes are essentially one long story divided into 3 parts, because after the campaign ended, the Traveler released 3 sparks of light, I think, and each one landed in a different location on a different planet. And that caused essentially that planet to turn into something it's not. And so as the Guardian, we have to go into these planets and figure out what's going on, uncover new lore, fight new bosses, new enemy mechanics. Really, really solid form of storytelling. I am a big fan of this. And again, major spoiler warning, but one thing I can say that I didn't really appreciate about the campaign, especially the ending, is that the Traveler still hasn't communicated with us directly. It has helped us throughout the campaign by giving us the swords and by giving us the shields and by giving us the bursts of light and stuff like that. It gave us the ghost, it gave us the speaker back in early D2 and all of D1, but it still hasn't directly spoken to us in any form of way. And that, I'm not too big of a fan when it comes to how Bungie handled the ending. However, I have no doubt that that will change sometime in the future. And speaking of the future, the Witness called itself, like, the Witness is the final boss, right? Keep that in mind. The Witness called itself the knife that something else is wielding. And I'm putting on my tinfoil hat for this one, but I think there is still a big bad boss out there. We defeated the henchman, and now we have to defeat something called the Winnower, Winnower, which is something that the Witness refers to a few times, and it's something that is pretty massive in lore books. At the beginning of Destiny, there was a Gardener, and then there was a Winnower, and they were in perfect harmony until the Winnower was like, hey, this, there's too much chaos, I want to shut it down and just keep it all still, which is essentially the same thing the Witness wanted to do. So I'm very interested to see where Bungie takes this, because I'm sure they will take it really, really far, which I'm excited about. And the last thing about the future of Destiny 2 is, you guessed it, Destiny 3. I don't know if they will be coming out with a D3. I hope so, but that also makes me concerned, because that means that they're going to stop working on Destiny 2. Now, I know I'm getting concerned over false prophecies now because Destiny 3 hasn't been confirmed yet, but there have been a few things that have been, leading people to believe that there could be a Destiny 3 in production already. These include leaks. One of Bungie's, I think it was a head developer, recently posted a tweet that capitalized hope 3 times, and that's a little bit inconspicuous. Why would you randomly capitalize hope 3 times? They weren't at the beginning of sentences. They weren't pronouns. They just, hope, hope, hope. That's kind of weird, man. But yeah, I think this game was absolutely incredible, and I'm still going to be playing it. It got really bright in my room again. You see that? It's really cool. But I am very, very excited to see where this series goes. And as always, I will keep you updated. And I will be back on Destiny later today, tomorrow, for as long as I can foresee in the future, because it's that game that I keep coming back to. It, as I said in the past, it is my favorite game that I hate, and I hate it because I love it, and I love it because I hate it. But for now, stay safe.